What if I told you that the Parthenon wasn't really a temple? That the Trojan War wasn't a myth, but a dusty battlefield archaeologists actually found? And that ancient Greece never existed as a country, not even close? We grew up thinking of marble statues, noble philosophers, and heroic Spartans. But that's just the glossy cover of a much messier, wilder story. A civilization that rose from volcanic ash, collapsed into total darkness, clawed its way back with stolen alphabets, and then birthed some of the most dangerous ideas in history. This isn't a history lesson. It's a survival story. A story of collapse, betrayal, and rebirth. And it all started long before Socrates ever asked a single question. The lost civilization. Before Greece, before Sparta, before philosophers, there were the Minoans. Over 3,000 years ago, while Egypt raised pyramids, Crete had 3-story palaces, colorful murals, and 0 walls. No armies, no battles, just art, trade, and strange freedom, like women walking topless and monkey paintings on palace walls. They had their own writing, a powerful navy, even plumbing. But then, it all vanished. A volcanic eruption on nearby Thera, modern-day Santorini, triggered tsunamis and ash clouds that wiped them out. Crops died, cities drowned, and just like that, the Minoans disappeared. Some say this was Atlantis, the real one. But from the ashes of peace came something far more dangerous. Mycenaeans, the real Bronze Age. Badasses. After the Minoans vanished, new rulers took over the ruins, armed to the teeth. These were the Mycenaeans, war-hardened, gold-obsessed, and not here to admire frescoes. They built cities with 6-meter-thick walls and buried their dead with weapons and treasure. Peace wasn't part of their plan. They spoke an early form of Greek, and according to legend, they led the charge against Troy. For centuries, people thought the Trojan War was just a myth, until 19th-century archaeologists actually found the ruins of Troy and Mycenae, along with weapons, ash layers, and signs of siege. But then, around 1200 BC, the entire eastern Mediterranean collapsed. Cities burned, trade vanished, and once again, everything went dark. What came next was a total reboot. The Greek Dark Ages, a total collapse. After the fall of Mycenae, Greece didn't just decline, it flatlined. Writing disappeared, cities crumbled, trade routes vanished. For nearly 400 years, the Greeks left no records, no monuments, no answers. What little we know comes from Homer. Whoever he was, some say he was blind. Others think he was a group of poets. Either way, the Iliad and Odyssey weren't history books, but they painted a brutal picture. Kings living in huts, cattle used as currency, warriors fighting over honor and spoils compared to the palaces of Crete and Mycenae. It was like waking up in a post-apocalyptic world. And yet, slowly, something new began to stir. A spark that would reignite civilization. Greece reboots, but not as a country. When Greece came back to life, it didn't rise as one nation. It shattered into hundreds of rival city-states. Mountains split the land, the sea broke up the coast, and every city, Athens, Sparta, Corinth, acted like its own kingdom. There was no capital, no unified flag, and definitely no peace. But the Greeks got clever. Instead of farming their rocky land, they set sail. Colonies popped up from Spain to the Black Sea. They borrowed the alphabet from the Phoenicians, learned coinage from Lydia, and spread wine and pottery across the Mediterranean. It wasn't pure invention, it was reinvention. and two cities were about to rise above the rest. Athens versus Sparta, the ultimate contrast. Athens and Sparta shared a language, but little else. Sparta was a war machine. Boys were taken at age 7, raised in barracks, trained to kill. Their economy ran on helots, enslaved locals who outnumbered Spartans 10 to 1. Every day was a fight to prevent rebellion. Athens, total chaos. Power swung between aristocrats, tyrants, and finally, democracy. But not the kind we know. Only free male citizens could vote, maybe a quarter of the population. No women, no slaves, no migrants. Still, Athens became a hub of art, debate, and innovation. Sparta stayed hard, silent, and deadly, but both would soon face a threat too big to ignore. Persia invades, and the Greeks fight dirty. The Persian Empire was massive, ruthless, rich, and on the move. When it set its sights on Greece, most city-states panicked. Athens and Sparta stood their ground. Persia burned Miletus to ash. In return, Athens struck hard at Marathon, shocking the world with a victory no one saw coming. At Thermopylae, 300 Spartans and a few thousand allies held the line for 3 days against a force 10 times their size. But the real power move? Athens used newfound silver to build a fleet. 200 warships, fast and deadly. At Salamis, they crushed the Persian navy in a trap of narrow straits and wooden spears. Greece had won, but unity came at a price. Golden Age or Golden Illusion? After beating Persia, Athens cashed in, literally. They formed a defensive alliance with over 150 city-states, collecting payments to fund a shared military. But instead of storing the treasure on neutral ground, Athens moved it home and built the Parthenon with it. That wasn't a temple. It was a bank, fortress, and flex, all in one. Sculptors, philosophers, and playwrights thrived. Socrates questioned everything. Pericles rebuilt the city with wide streets and marble walls. Athens became the brain of the Greek world. But Sparta saw the gold, the arrogance, and started sharpening their swords. Civil war and collapse, the Peloponnesian disaster. Jealous and threatened, Sparta struck. What followed was a brutal 27-year war that tore Greece apart. Athens hid behind its walls. Sparta cut off their grain. Then came plague, killing thousands, including Pericles himself. Leadership fell to reckless demagogues, and when Athens launched a doomed invasion of Sicily, it lost its fleet and its grip. To make things worse, one of their own generals, Alcibiades, defected and advised the enemy. Eventually, Athens surrendered. Its walls were torn down. Its empire collapsed. And just like that, the Golden Age was over. But far to the north, someone else was watching and waiting. Alexander the Great. The ultimate plot twist. While the Greek cities tore each other apart, Macedonia was rising. Seen as outsiders, the Macedonians were dismissed as half-Greek hill tribes until King Philip II built a ruthless army and conquered most of Greece. Before he could strike Persia, he was assassinated. His 20-year-old son took over. That son was Alexander. In less than a decade, he crushed the Persian Empire, marched into Egypt, and reached India. But he didn't just conquer, he blended worlds. Greek language, art, and gods fused with Eastern traditions. Cities named Alexandria popped up everywhere. He became a living god, then died young, and with him, the empire cracked. The aftershock. Greece dies, but its culture. Wins Alexander's generals split his empire like vultures. Greece, once the center, faded into the background. Then came Rome. The Romans conquered Greece by 146 BC and Egypt by 30 BC. But instead of wiping Greek culture out, they became obsessed with it. They studied Homer, built temples in Greek style, and passed on the language. Later, Emperor Constantine founded Constantinople on an old Greek colony, launching the Byzantine Empire. Where Greek ideas lived for another 1,000 years, Greece lost its armies, its lands, its independence. But its influence? That never died. Ancient Greece didn't end with a bang. It faded, fractured, and got swallowed by empires. But its ideas, those never stopped spreading. The democracy you vote in, the philosophy you quote, the tragedies you watch, even the architecture around you, they all echo from a civilization that never truly existed as a country. There was no single ancient Greece, just rival cities, fleeting alliances, and a firestorm of ideas. And yet, its mind shaped the world. The ruins may be silent, but the story? Still unfolding. If history like this makes you rethink everything you thought you knew, don't stop here. Hit subscribe, tap the bell, and join us for more hidden chapters from the past. The next mystery is already waiting.